A major revelation has emerged in the Delhi car blast case. On Monday evening near the Red Fort in Chandni Chowk, the terrorist identified as Dr. Umar was inside the explosive-laden car and detonated it himself. According to CCTV footage, terrorist Umar Nabi visited mosque in Old Delhi on the day of the attack. Police obtained CCTV footage from the site and are investigating whether he also visited the mosque. DNA tests have confirmed his identity, proving that Umar deliberately carried out the suicide blast. The authorities have also released another CCTV footage showing I-20 passing from Connaught Place area. Umar was driving the car, who then went to Lal Qila parking. This confirmation establishes that the explosion was a planned act of terrorism executed by the attacker himself. All right, DD India's Kriti Vadhera has more information on this. She is joining us live from Delhi. Kriti, a major revelation has emerged in Delhi car blast case, and DNA test confirms Umar Nabi as the terrorist who in fact executed the Delhi car blast. What more you can tell us?
It is confirmed through the DNA report test that the driver was Dr. Umar himself, and before he reached the location where I'm standing at Red Fort, the blast site, he travelled all the way from Faridabad, entered Delhi, and the CCTV footage which has been revealed of Connaught Place area, then to from where he entered Old Delhi, he visited a mosque situated a kilometer away from this place where I'm standing, which is near Turkman Gate, Shahi Masjid he visited. Probably he must have offered a prayer that particular day, because the time slot was around the afternoon time. And where I'm standing, Abhishek, right behind me is the spot. I would request my camera person to just show our viewers that the white tent which is displayed there on the screen is the place where this blast happened, and just above that tent area you can see a pole. That was the CCTV footage of that particular pole which was revealed yesterday, which clearly shows that the vehicle I-20 white color vehicle was coming from Old Delhi railway station towards Red Fort, and on right side of me there's this Jain temple and Jaishankar temple where we witnessed that the NIA team has been doing investigations of this particular blast. It was such a severe blast, and all the victims of this blast, 8 have been declared as dead, and more than 24 are under observation in LNJP hospital. Severe injuries have, they have witnessed, and majorly the injury all of them have faced is the damage in their eardrum. So that shows clearly how severe must have been the sound and the intensity of this car blast.
Most of the injuries, yes, are burn injuries, Kriti. But again, have agencies been able to establish how Dr. Nabi procured the explosives and the vehicle used in the attack?
See, it is still underway. It's not just the white I-20 car, but another vehicle which was registered on his name was the red Eco, which was detained from Faridabad area last night. So certainly all these loose ends of the entire episode which happened on the same day in Faridabad raid till 6:52 here at Red Fort when the blast happened. All the central agencies are investigating the same story and trying to attach all the loopholes to investigate that what was the major agenda behind this car blast. And yes, of course, ATS in all the states of India is on ground, and they are detaining people. Investigation is under process, and we are getting this information that in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, ATS has detained a professor. Dr. Arif has been detained, who is said to be a professor. And to remind you here, Abhishek, that all these accused, maybe the four main accused or the people who are suspected in this car blast, all are associated to some or the other educational institution. Al Falah University in Faridabad, a rigorous and a severe investigation is under process since last 2 days. All the faculty members and all the people who were associated with these 4 doctors have been detained by Haryana police. So it is a collaborative effort of all the state police and all central agencies, and this severe investigation of this anti-national movement is still under process.
All right, Kriti, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for the time being, but yes, we'll keep taking updates from you. Moving on, the Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed its profound grief over the loss of lives in the terrorist incident involving a car explosion near the Red Fort in Delhi on Monday. The Cabinet also observed 2-minute silence in honor of innocent lives lost. The Cabinet also recorded its appreciation for the statements of solidarity and support from many governments around the world.
The country has witnessed a heinous terror incident perpetrated by anti-national forces through a car explosion near the Red Fort on the evening of 10th November 2025. The explosion resulted in multiple fatalities and caused injuries to several others. The Cabinet pays its respects to the victims of this senseless act of violence and conveys its heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. The Cabinet prays for the speedy recovery of all those injured and appreciates the prompt efforts of the medical personnel and emergency responders who have been providing care and support to the victims. The Cabinet unequivocally condemns this dastardly and cowardly act that has led to the loss of innocent lives. The Cabinet reiterates India's unwavering commitment to a policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. The Cabinet also recorded its appreciation for the statements of solidarity and support from many governments around the world. The Cabinet notes with appreciation the timely and coordinated response of the authorities, security agencies, and citizens who acted with courage and compassion in the face of adversity. Their dedication and sense of duty are deeply commendable. The Cabinet directs that the investigation into the incident be pursued with the utmost urgency and professionalism so that the perpetrators, their collaborators, and their sponsors are identified and brought to justice without delay. The situation continues to be closely monitored at the highest levels of the government. The Cabinet reaffirms the government's steadfast resolve to safeguard the lives and well-being of all Indians, consistent with its enduring commitment to national security and the safety of every citizen.
And investigations are underway across Jammu and Kashmir after the bomb blast in Delhi. In a coordinated crackdown, Srinagar police conducted extensive raids across various city areas, targeting terrorist associates and suspected networks linked to banned organizations. The operation, carried out under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, focused on individuals and locations suspected of providing logistical support, funding and communication aid to terrorist groups. Several suspects have been detained for questioning, and police have seized electronic devices, documents and incriminating material. And India's National Investigation Agency on Wednesday conducted searches at 10 locations across 5 states in an Al-Qaeda Gujarat terror conspiracy case involving illegal Bangladeshi immigrants. NIA teams conducted searches at different locations linked to suspects and their associates. Several digital devices and incriminating documents were seized for forensic analysis. The case, registered in June 2023 under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and the Foreigners Act, revealed that 4 Bangladeshi nationals illegally entered India using forged IDs. Linked to Al-Qaeda network, they were involved in funding its operatives in Bangladesh and radicalizing youth. The investigation continues to trace the terror network's links, presence and financial channels within India and across the border. Moving on, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has strongly condemned the Delhi bomb blast, describing it as a clear act of terrorism and expressing solidarity with India. Following his meeting with External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar on the sidelines of G7 Foreign Ministers meeting in Canada, Rubio praised India's handling of the Delhi car blast investigation, describing it as measured and professional. Rubio added that while the United States had offered assistance, Indian authorities were managing the probe efficiently and independently.
It clearly was a terrorist attack, and it was a car loaded with highly explosive materials that detonated and killed a lot of people. But I think they're doing a very good job of carrying out an investigation, and I think when they have facts, they'll release those facts. So, but clearly, I mean, we're aware of the potential that it has, and so we spoke about that a little bit today, the potential that it has to become something broader. But I think we're going to await to see what their investigation reveals. We've offered to help, but I think they're very capable in these investigations. They don't need our help, and they're doing a good job.
And today is the third and last day of President Droupadi Murmu's historic visit to Botswana. Significantly symbolic handover of 8 cheetahs, formally announced by President Boko on Wednesday, is being done in the presence of President Murmu today. In a significant goodwill gesture, President Boko had announced that Botswana will donate 8 cheetahs to India under the Cheetah Reintroduction Project, reinforcing both nations' commitment to biodiversity conservation and ecological balance. President Murmu expressed profound gratitude, noting that the cheetahs would join the growing population at Kuno National Park. Besides, the President will meet Minister of International Relations of Botswana, Fenyo Butale, and Vice President of Botswana. Later, she will attend the Indian community reception before departing from Gaborone Airport. President Murmu arrived for a 3-day state visit to the country on Tuesday. This is the first visit by an Indian president to the country located in southern Africa. Now, polling in Bihar Assembly elections has concluded with the historic highest ever voter turnout of 66.91%. Polling for all 243 assembly constituencies in Bihar was held in 2 phases on 6th and 11th November. The counting of votes for over 2,600 candidates will take place on 14th November, that is tomorrow. The elections witnessed record voter turnout since 1951, with around 67% participation across both phases, which is about 10% higher than in 2020. The first phase registered over 65% polling, while the second phase recorded around 69% voting. Bihar recorded its highest ever female voter turnout at 71.6%, while male voter turnout was 62.8%. The Election Commission of India said that scrutiny of documents in all 122 assembly constituencies in phase 2 was completed smoothly in the presence of returning officers, general observers and candidates or their representatives. No discrepancies or malpractices were found, leading to a historic outcome of 0 repolls, a first for Bihar in recent decades. All right, we'll go across to Patna. DD India's Deepika Mehto joins us from there. Hi Deepika, big day tomorrow, votes to be counted. Tell us, what's the situation at the centres? All arrangements in place?
Good afternoon, Abhishek. All arrangements are in place, and especially what happened in Delhi after that blast that everybody witnessed and everybody have been condoling. So security arrangements have been cautiously beefed up here in Patna as well, because tomorrow is the final day that will decide the fate of the Bihar Assembly in this particular year 2025 for the upcoming term. Now, when we talk about the arrangements, all the security arrangements have been beefed up. As we told you, the counting will be taking place at the AN College of Patliputra, and the last-minute checks, last-minute recce's are being undertaken by the Chief Executive Officer as well as the District Administrator Officers as well. Now, counting is a huge factor here in Patna itself, because Patna is not only the capital city of Bihar, but it also is home to the headquarters of all the leading parties and of all the contesting parties who've contested in this assembly elections. So they are also, the parties also preparing and gearing up for the big counting day. There are many posters who are already celebrating the assumed victory of their own parties, because they are riding high on confidence. But it will be the counting day that will decide the fate of all these parties, of all the candidates, and of course Bihar, and will give us the final result. Abhishek.
Deepika, also if you could gauge the mood, what's the general mood like among officials and party representatives, voters too, ahead of tomorrow's counting?
When we talk about the parties and the officials, the party officials rather, of course, everybody is very much high on confidence that their own party is going to win because they've done aggressive campaigning. Bihar is itself such a vast state that every party mostly took 18 to 19 rallies and public meetings at one single day in order to cover all the districts here. Now there are 243 assembly constituencies and 121 went into the polling phase in phase 1, 122 went in the polling phase during the second phase of the assembly election. So covering all these is especially a huge task for all the parties, and apart from that there were star campaigners who are doing aggressive campaigning. Now that the polling is over, yesterday also we went to the iconic places here, Gandhi Maidan and the Marine Drive of Patna, and talked to the voters there that what exactly they voted for, and they said that they voted for development. Women came out in large numbers, as the figures also suggested, and women voted for safety, and many of them voted for law and harmony, especially in Patna. People voted for more job opportunities, the youngsters, the youth, because around 18, all the people who are falling under the age category of 18 to 39 constitute 50% of the voters here, which is a very huge figure when we talk about it. So all of them voted for development, all of them voted to avoid the migration issues. And now what they are expecting is that their votes count with a very free and fair manner on the counting day itself. And when we had a word with the voters there, asking about their opinion on who could be the possible chief minister, most of them said that it could be Nitish Kumar, and this is what the exit polls also are suggesting so far, Abhishek.
Yes, we'll get to know tomorrow. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs, Deepika. Moving on, seeking to reduce import dependency and vulnerabilities in the supply chain of critical minerals, the government on Wednesday approved the rationalization of royalty rates of graphite, cesium, rubidium and zirconium. Under the revised structure, the royalty for graphite will now be calculated on an ad valorem basis instead of per ton basis, meaning it will be charged as a percentage of the average sale price instead of a fixed amount per ton.
कुछ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स देश में ऐसे हैं अवेलेबल जिनके रॉयल्टी के स्ट्रक्चर को चेंज करने की ज़रूरत थी. बहुत ज़्यादा हाई रॉयल्टी इम्पोज करके रखी हुई थी, उनको रिड्यूस किया गया. पहला है ग्रेफाइट, दूसरा है जिरकोनियम, तीसरा है रूबिडियम और चौथा है सीजियम. कि इनके ऊपर जो रॉयल्टी है वो रिड्यूस की जाएगी जिससे कि इनका प्रोडक्शन बढ़े. और ये सारे के सारे ऐसे एलिमेंट्स हैं जिसका देश में बहुत उपयोग है, खासकर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल इंडस्ट्री, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री और स्ट्रैटेजिक सेक्टर्स में, सब में इनका बहुत उपयोग है.
And for graphite containing 80% or more fixed carbon, the royalty will be 2% of the average sale price, while lower grade graphite will attract 4%. The royalty rate for zirconium has been fixed at 1% and 2% for rubidium and cesium each. The Cabinet has approved amendments to the second schedule of the Mines and Minerals Development Regulation Act 1957 to bring in these changes. The new rates aim to give greater clarity to companies planning to bid for critical minerals block in upcoming auctions. All of these elements are used a lot in India, especially in the electric vehicle industry, electronic manufacturing industry and strategic sectors. Increase in indigenous production of these minerals would lead to reduction in imports and supply chain vulnerabilities and also generate employment opportunities in the country. The latest cabinet decision aims to enhance domestic production, attract investments, curb import dependency, fortify supply chains and generate jobs in electronics and strategic sectors, bolstering India's energy security. PM Modi posted on X about the decision, and I quote him here. This cabinet decision will boost sustainability and self-reliance. It will strengthen supply chains and create job opportunities as well, unquote. In another significant decision, the union government also approved an export promotion mission with an outlay of $2.506 billion for 6 financial years beginning this fiscal. Ashwini Vaishnav said it is a very comprehensive mission and it will support the complete export ecosystem. He added that the decision will help exporters deal with high tariffs imposed by the US. Under the mission, priority support will be extended to sectors impacted by recent global tariff escalation such as textiles, leather, gems and jewelry, engineering goods and marine products. The measure will help insulate domestic exporters from high tariffs imposed by the US on Indian goods. The US has imposed a hefty 50% tariff on Indian goods starting August 27. And the Union Cabinet has approved the Export Promotion Mission and Credit Guarantee Scheme for exporters. PM Modi in a post on X highlighted that these initiatives will enhance global competitiveness. He said on X, and I quote him here, "Ensuring Made in India resonates even louder in the world market." The Union Cabinet approved the Export Promotion Mission, which will improve export competitiveness, help MSMEs, first-time exporters and sectors that are labor-intensive. It brings together key stakeholders to build a mechanism that is outcome-based and effective. The Credit Guarantee Scheme for exporters, which has been approved by the Cabinet, will boost global competitiveness, ensure smooth business operations and help realize our dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Suman Berry, while addressing the Energy Security Conference in New Delhi on Thursday, said that India should not become the victim of high-cost energy on its journey towards Viksit Bharat. He also called for looking into the industrial structure of hydrocarbon sector and enhancing the private sector role in overall energy security.
We need to stress to the rest of the world the audaciousness and boldness of the challenge that India under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi has taken on, because these are at the end of the day new untested technologies at scale in many ways. I'm talking about solar, wind, etc. Everybody else has developed without care for the environment. We are trying to be prudent custodians of the environment. But as was said, it is our national self-interest that has to determine our energy policies.
Well, shifting focus, President Donald Trump on Wednesday signed legislation ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, roughly 2 hours after the House of Representatives voted. Trump's signature on the bill, which cleared the Senate earlier in the week, will bring federal workers idled by 43-day shutdown back to their jobs starting today, although just how quickly full government services and operations will resume is still unclear. It would extend funding through January 30, leaving the federal government on a path to keep adding about $1.8 trillion a year to its $38 trillion in debt. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the spending bill that will end the government shutdown with a 222 to 209 vote. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson called the recent government shutdown utterly pointless and foolish, accusing Democrats of using Americans as leverage in a failed political tactic.
I want to say that all this was utterly pointless and foolish. This outcome was totally foreseeable. I said that this would be the outcome when all this began back in mid-September. They did it anyway. Democrats admitted that they used the people as leverage, and they got nothing for their selfish political stunt here. They didn't achieve anything with this at all.
And the United Arab Emirates has launched Walk to Mars. It is a nationwide campaign encouraging residents to collectively cover 54 million kilometers. The launch of campaign coincides with 100-day countdown to the Open Masters Games Abu Dhabi 2026, the region's largest multi-sport event. The initiative invites participants to walk, run, cycle or swim a combined distance equal to the journey from the Earth to the Mars, symbolizing the UAE's 54th year. The games are open to athletes aged 30 and above with no prior experience required. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.